Hello, welcome along here to a Busy Bee Budgets, where we're on a journey for like financial sustainability and like consciousness, and just making sure that I'm really like prioritizing where my money goes and stuff. We're very lucky that we're like in a situation where we don't have like debt or kind of and we've got like a high income to play with. But I started my budgeting journey a year ago, which is crazy to think how far that's gone. But I'm just so pleased we did, because obviously had I known the way that the year was going to go in terms of like, you know, cost of living, gas and electric, food and everything, I'm just really glad that I put some really good financial like processes or habits or whatever you want to call it in place. And I think like many of us who are kind of on this, it is a journey and it kind of evolves over time, and you try different things and you kind of find out what works for you. And I think if you're like me, that's why I love watching everyone's videos, because you pick up other people's ideas and like tips and tricks, and you start thinking about how like that applies to your own budget and stuff. So I just want to say thank you to the community, really, because I know it sounds like really dramatic, but like it is genuinely like my favourite bit of the day is watching YouTube videos in bed about like budgeting and money and stuff. And it's completely changed my relationship with money, really. So before, maybe like I'll do a whole video on kind of what I've learned after a year, but like I think before we never ran out of money, but some months were tight and we were definitely in a habit of like basically spending everything we made. And a lot of it would be on like stuff that was important, like, you know, stuff for the house or holidays and stuff, but it was just like we were in a cycle of spending. And I think this has made me put money aside much more regularly, and be much more systematic in my money. And what that has done is kind of completely like ruled out the payday cycle for me. So you know, like how you feel like the first couple of like days or weeks, like, oh, you feel like really flush and you're kind of splashing the cash, and then it becomes quite quickly that, you know, kind of the end of the month still quite a long way away and you've still got other things that you need to come in, or an unexpected bill comes in, like your heart breaks down or like a big bit of electrical breaks, and you just kind of not really used to it. So like obviously what I've not done, and before what I would do in that case is I'd obviously like either spend it out of my wages, or if I didn't have any cash, what I'd do is pay for it on a credit card in the next month and pay it off, which is great that I was in that position to do that. But it just meant that it was a kind of constant cycle. And what I've done since starting budgeting and stuff is I've not spent on credit cards at all. I've not had to, because I've set up the sinking funds, I've been putting money away for big bills and stuff. And it's also made me reassess my relationship, because I think before I was a bit like, oh, easy come, easy go, we make a lot of money, it's fine. And now I'm a bit more like, no, I want my money to work for me and work for my goals, and like particularly long term. So yeah, sorry it was a bit of a ramble to the start of the video, but I just think I can't say enough good things about this process. And I think if it only makes you feel more in control of your money, then it's a positive, isn't it? So there we go. Right, so moving on to February, which will be a 4-week month for me. But halfway through the month, probably like between weeks 2 and 3, I'm probably going to be moving house, which will have a significant income effect on my budget. So what I've decided to do is do my budget as I would do normally, but there may have to be some adjustments in month, because I'm sure unexpected bills will pop up, or there'll be some stuff that I haven't really thought about in the moving process. So although I've got a pot of money set aside for moving to cover things like moving costs, solicitor's fee, stamp duty, all of that kind of stuff, I'm sure there's something I haven't thought of, and I'm sure there'll be something that will pop up in month. So my budget is going to start on the 10th of February. I get paid on the 8th every month, and I do my budgeting on a Friday to Friday basis. So the 10th is going to be my first week, and then for me it's going to be a 4-week month, which is a nice change after January, which seemed to go on forever. And what I'm doing is basing it on my main income, which is $5,750. I do have some side hustle income, but what I'm doing at the moment is not pulling it out of my business. I'm just letting it sit there, probably until the end of the tax year, probably until I know about what my bills exactly look like in the new house, and then I can work out how much money, if anything, I need to pull out of the business. I've got a retail business, and obviously retail's really tough at the moment, and like understandably, like sales are really down and stuff. So I'm trying not to keep a bit like setting up a rainy day fund here. I'm trying not to pull money out of the business and keep it in there to see me through the next few months while people are still going to feel like really stretched and stuff. So I'm budgeting on my main income. And what I have done for February is the same as January. So my actual home bills as they stand at the moment are about 1,500 a month. So currently that covers for us mortgage, it covers gas, electric, water, it covers phone bills, it covers broadband, it covers life insurance. It basically covers everything that we, like the bare minimum of like our household bills. So like all the stuff you'd get in trouble if you don't pay. So that currently comes in at £1,500. I estimate in the new house it will be 3,500. So what I've done for the last couple of months is adjusted up my bills figure to be 3,500. But currently it's only at 1,500, if that makes sense. So there's a £2,000 difference between where I live now and the house we're moving to. And I appreciate for many that seems like a bit of a crazy decision, particularly at the moment, but it is our kind of forever home. Having budgeted for a year and understanding like what my like spending levels are like, and lots of bits and pieces, like I feel like at this point in our life it's worth the move and worth the risk. Obviously we can always decide to settle or do whatever if we need to in time, but yeah, otherwise that's kind of all good. So what I've been doing with that extra 2,000 is I have been putting that aside into a rainy day fund. So I've already got £1,000 in my emergency fund, but what I'm aiming to do is have £5,000 around the time we move in a rainy day fund, and that is for stuff I guess which isn't like full-blown emergency, but is just like, oh, things are a bit tough this month, or perhaps my income drops for some reason, or we get a major bill or something. So for me that £5,000 could cover a new boiler if that have to happen. It would cover major electricals if something like the dishwasher went or whatever, but I'm not intending to spend it. So when we move to the new house there will be big purchases I need to make. So I don't have a fridge freezer there, I don't have a washing machine, don't have a tumble dryer, I don't have any of all that stuff. But I'm hoping not to fund that from a rainy day fund. I'm hoping to fund that from kind of money that we get from the house sale and various other bits I've put aside. So long way of saying the rainy day fund is something I don't expect to dip into on a very regular basis, but it's just there for peace of mind. The other thing that £5,000 will be is 1 month's worth of expenses for me. So that would cover my household bills in the new house, estimated at 3,500. It would also cover all my variable spending for a month, and a bit left over. And obviously if we were in a situation where I wasn't getting any income, the first thing I would do is cut back my variable to the bare minimum, and then kind of use that. So you could almost say it's like a month and a half's worth of expenses for us. Another goal, so I'm aiming to redo my financial budgets in April, because it's the start of a new tax year. I may well get a change in my pay, but also because we'll be in the new house. So I'm going to rejig some of that, and one of the sinking funds I want to add in is a month ahead fund. So the rainy day fund would technically be a month ahead, but what I want to do is keep adding to that to a point where we got 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved. So whether or not you look at that as a month ahead or like a extra emergency fund, like, doesn't really matter. It's like all kind of, it's basically money I'm not intending to use, but if the shit hit the fan, like I absolutely could. Right, that was a very long explanation, sorry. So I put away £2,000 last month. I'm going to put away another £2,000 this month. I've also got some money buffer in that bills account and a few other bits and pieces, so I'm hoping that after we move I can make that a nice round £5,000 and kind of have done. I've also got miscellaneous bills of around 100, which is things like subscriptions and various other bits and pieces that come out of there. And then I've also got a loan of 750, but that will be cleared when we move house. So that will disappear from my budget probably after this month. But I just kind of wanted to wait until we'd moved, and then I can pay it off and various other bits and pieces. So my fixed bills are going to come to 4,350, which leaves me with £1,400 carry forward. And so what I have done is gone through and kind of estimated what our expenses are going to be. So I currently allow £100 a week for food. That is for 2 of us, and also covers everything else I buy at the supermarket, which as it turns out is quite a lot. So I buy all our toiletries there, so shampoo, conditioner, shower gel, deodorant, hair dye, everything comes from there. And that also covers all our cleaning products. So although it's like a generous budget and we're lucky that we have that money to play with, it covers multiple things. So I think someone else said in their video they were thinking about renaming that supermarket, which might be a better £10. But I also, if I buy a takeaway or have something like that, that often comes from the food budget as well. So that's going to get £100 a week. Now, as we all know, like when you're moving, things can be a bit kind of up and down. Like there's probably one night we're going to stay in a hotel between leaving this current house and moving to the new house. So we may well have some extra eating out expenses, but I'll probably just do that from the moving fund rather than our usual budget. But it may well be that we don't perhaps buy as much food. I obviously need to run down the cupboards and freezer even more and stuff. So we might be eating some quite random meals, but they will be probably quite cheap. Fuel, I'm going to give myself 150. That's what I gave myself last month. And although I haven't got as many long trips, I have got some trips for work. So I'm probably going to need all of that. So 150 in fuel. Spends, I'm going to give myself 250. And spends category for me is everything that's basically for myself. So if I want to go out for coffee or lunch with a friend, if I want to buy myself some clothing or some books or some stationery or whatever, that is kind of my money. So I've allocated 250. Last month was 350 because I had a couple of weekends away planned. But that's kind of what I'm allocating for spends. Miscellaneous gets £10 a week if that's just for anything I haven't thought about, or if I'm say somewhere like B&M and I buy some bits in the house or whatever it happens to be. So miscellaneous gets 10. Giving, I have £10 a week that I give to causes, and I keep that on a rolling basis throughout the month, unless and then if there's any left over at the end of the month, what I then do is donate that to my local food bank, because that's kind of my preferred charity. So I kind of do that. And then fitness, I've allocated myself 70. So I anticipate I'm not going to have as much time for fitness in the next month because of moving and other bits and pieces. So I currently at the moment pay for yoga classes, cold water swimming, and sometimes boxing. But I don't think I'll be spending that much next month and no other money left over. So that comes to a grand total of £950, which leaves me with 450 to put into my sinking funds. And what I've just gone through is kind of gone through by priorities and allocated these. So I'm going to put £50 into my Christmas sinking fund, 70 into my treats, £30 into clothes, appliances is going to get 50, car insurance is going to get 50, growth's getting nothing, garden's getting 50, and experiences is getting 150. So I have two types of sinking funds. I have my grown-up sinking funds, which are things like my emergency fund, health fund, gifts, the stuff that basically I can't get away with not spending or buying. So I've got emergency, health, gifts, car, so that's car maintenance, experiences, which is for like fun trips, holidays, those types of things, and then home. And then this is my month ahead, which is where I've been saving up bills. And then there'll be a new one for financial goals, which will kind of kick in with the new budget and the new house. And then I have my fun treats envelope, which is all these extra things which are nice to haves, but are kind of a second priority. So I work through like this binder first, check if there's anything I need to top up, and then if not, I allocate into this. So this one's got Christmas treats, clothes, appliances, car insurance, which isn't really nice to have, but we'll kind of know whatever. Growth, garden, and phone. And then there may well be some more that I add to those. I did used to have a vets fund, but unfortunately my dog died. And so what I've done is, after I've paid the last bill, I've redistributed that money to experiences. So that vets one drops off my sinking funds now. And I think I'll be adding some more sinking funds for the new house, but we'll kind of do that. But what I also did in January was set myself some goals that I wanted to do, if she can find them. I'll start to think about ones for the new house, which is kind of there. So I wanted to open a Chase bank account, which I did, and that has got really good savings pots and good saving rate and a roundup on your cash spending. So I opened a Chase account, being really impressed with that. I'm going to be tracking my cash back. So when I do my January cash out, I will kind of update where I've been, but I've been tracking how much cash back I'm getting in the month. January I did the buy nothing new month. I kind of kept to that mainly. One exception was I bought one item of clothing brand new, but there was quite a few times when I bought stuff, I wanted to buy stuff, and I don't know about you, but but things like budgeting almost I want. So it's like, oh, I want some more envelopes, or I want some more placeholders, or I wanted a new savings challenge. And what I did is basically held myself back from all those purchases. So I'll probably do them in when I redo my budget. But yeah, it was good in making me consciously think about buying nothing new. I wanted to try out £50 food shops, which I did. So my new rule now is going to be, if my husband's not here for a week, I'm going to reduce our food shop down to 50. So that's something that's been a really positive thing. I've sold quite a lot on eBay, so I've sold about £300 worth this month on eBay. Partly obviously to help with decluttering for the move, but also partly good to get some extra cash in. So I set myself a goal of raising I can never say this, £2,023 in 2023. So basically everything that I'm selling, both on eBay, and then I'll be selling some stuff on Marketplace this weekend, goes into that fund. And then I'm also trying to do a big clear out of all the old electronics. We've got like old phones and old laptops and stuff, and selling towards that. So hopefully, maybe by the time we move, we might be halfway to that goal, and then I'll have the rest of the year to kind of raise the additional income. And what I haven't decided is if this cashback income will feed into that £2,023. It's essentially like side hustle money. But I guess it'll probably see how close I am to that goal, and if I can. The thing is, I've kind of sold all of the good stuff now, like the stuff that's worth some money. So I think it's going to be increasingly harder for me to get to that goal without including this stuff, but we'll see. I tracked everything for a week, so I've been doing that on a daily basis now, and again, that's been really good in changing my habits, because I noticed I was doing a lot of visits to the supermarket almost every day, and I've really reined that back this week. And I think that's helped because my food budget has gone down a lot. So that's definitely happened. No spend week, I probably will do that in the first week of February. Yeah, just kind of set myself a no spend week goal. I think a no spend month, I did it before in September and it was really good, but it's quite long. And I think what's been good about these January goals is I've only done them for a week, so they've been quite quick and quite focused. I think sometimes had I set myself to do this for the whole month, it would have become a bit harder, and not so that's not a good thing, but just I think I would have lost the enthusiasm for it. So I feel like I've got more bang for my buck doing a different thing every week, and so maybe I might try that in March, say, or April, when I'm a bit more settled and we'll kind of think about it again. So that's that. So thank you for watching my February budget. I'm expecting that February will be the last time it looks quite like this. It will look different again in March, probably because I'll have like higher, I think I'm going to get like a month and a half's worth of mortgage bill in 1 month, if that makes sense. So probably going to have higher expenses in March, and then April it will kind of settle down to what that normal bills pattern is going to be. But also I may well, with April and pay reviews, I may well have a different income figure, and I am going back full time at work. So that income figure will definitely change. I just don't know what to yet. So thank you very much for listening to me. That was a bit of a ramble as always. And I hope that your February planning is going well. I hope you made it out of January unscathed. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, take care. Bye.